host. Today we're going to be talking about veterans in recovery, and what it's like for veterans that are coming out of the service, or even for those that are in the service, struggling with PTSD, alcohol and drug problems. I brought on a guest today, Doug, and Doug's going to share with us, I'm sorry, I forgot your last name.
Strand,
forgive the audience. What was it like for you? When did you first start drinking or using drugs?
I first started drinking at a fairly early age. I would say in my middle teens, experimenting. And then through high school, I drank more, started experimenting with marijuana and just drinking pretty much on the weekend, and would binge drink every once in a while, but nothing real serious at that point in my life. And then as time progressed, and when I went to school to higher learning at, Oklahoma State University, I started drinking more and partying more and smoking more pot and just getting mixed up with the wrong people. And I got to where I really enjoyed drinking. And it started becoming a problem. I found myself drinking more and more. I joined the Army when I was 18 years old in 1989. I served for 3 years at that time, and I went to Operation Desert Storm, and that was in January of 91. It was a pretty quick conflict. I was only there for about 5 months, and was engulfed in an oil fire smoke in Kuwait City, and the living conditions weren't ideal, but overall it wasn't that big of a danger for me, and it didn't really have a whole lot of stressors and things that would trigger me until later on in my life. Once I got back from Desert Storm, I went to I got out of the Army in 1992. There was a big surge on reduction of troops, and I got out and did various jobs. The alcohol at that time hadn't fully taken over, but I was still drinking very heavily, and I did various jobs, and I decided I wanted to get back in the military in 2004. And in 2004, I re-enlisted as an airborne infantryman, and I was with the 82nd Airborne Division. In 2005, I had the extreme opportunity of participating in relief efforts for Hurricane Katrina. And I got to spend a month in New Orleans doing rescue missions, and that was probably the highlight of my military career. It was really rewarding, helping out fellow Americans and rescuing them. Although, be it was sad, I do feel good and positive about what we did there.
Wait, what was that?
What we did is we'd go out in rafts with local law enforcement. We even had law enforcement come all the way from Chicago. We worked with the Chicago SWAT team and did boat operations with them, with the Coast Guard, with the Navy, and we would just rescue people that were stranded on rooftops and give them a ride to the Superdome and provide them with food and water and medical attention if they needed it. And it was really good. And we patrolled the French Quarter and kept order there and made sure that there was no looting or anything going on that would be detrimental to the rescue efforts.
Was there any drinking going on during that time with you and your brothers?
At that time, there really wasn't, because I was so focused on my mission, and we didn't have alcohol while we were doing missions, and so at that time there wasn't. After that, there was a little bit, but not anything out of the ordinary. In 2007, I did go to Iraq for a year, and that was pretty tough on me. It was just difficult on my emotions, and it really stuck with me.
Your emotions? What do you mean?
Well, some of the things I saw in combat. War is not a friendly place. Especially as an infantryman, we're in the front of the battle, and so to speak, the tip of the spear. And so it was difficult dealing with some of the things that we saw, witnessed, and some of our fellow soldiers.
Would you mind sharing a little bit what that was that you witnessed and saw?
Yeah, the biggest threat that we had, I was in Baghdad, in that area. That was the area of operations that we were assigned to. And one of the favorite tactics of our enemy was to place IEDs, or improved explosive devices, improvised explosive devices even. And that was a constant threat. We'd be driving along, and out of nowhere, a bomb would go off. And a lot of times, it was strong enough and big enough to where it created fatalities. And seeing that and having to deal with that, and the stress of worrying about whether or not I was going to become a victim of that was really difficult.
Oh, yeah.
And I lost some friends in combat there, and that was really hard. And upon returning from Iraq, my drinking increased. I was having nightmares. I couldn't sleep at night very well. It was just, it was traumatic, and I didn't really know who to talk to. And since I was in the infantry, I didn't really want to go to the chaplain or use the resources available, because I was afraid that my soldiers and my peers and subordinates and seniors would think less of me, because in the infantry we're supposed to be strong and all that. And so I kind of bottled it up and used alcohol as somewhat of a escape then. I also have a 7-year-old daughter now who will be 8 soon, and I've missed half her life because of deployments. If I wasn't deployed, I was either training to be deployed or off doing something. And so I really I missed a lot of my daughter's life, and it's sad because I can't get that back, but I can move forward. In 2011, I left just a few weeks before Christmas, and that was kind of hard on my daughter because she didn't really understand combat. And she would ask me, "Daddy, what are you going to do? Where are you going? Why do you have to go for so long?" And I would tell her, "Baby, Daddy's going to go get the bad guys. He's going to keep us safe and get the bad guys." And she understood that, but it was still very difficult. Afghanistan was a whole different type of conflict than the urban warfare I was used to in Baghdad. It was very mountainous. The terrain was just unforgiving. The amount of equipment that we carried, and I mean, we got into several skirmishes with the enemy, and some of my soldiers got injured really badly, and it was really difficult, being away from home for that long and witnessing my soldiers get shot up and other friends getting hurt or even passing away, giving the ultimate sacrifice.
Is that where it brings on a lot of that survivor's guilt?
Yes, it does.
Why did it happen to me?
It does, and it's weird because when I was in Afghanistan, I was in a combat state of mind. I knew my job, I knew what to do, and I did it. And my responsibility was to my soldiers, number one, that I was in charge of, and making sure that we accomplished the mission safely, and making sure that they were safe, and making sure they had everything they need to do their mission and be safe and get them home safe. And we did that. I did lose some friends in Afghanistan. We did get into some heavy fights, and that really started affecting me more so when I came back from Afghanistan, because then I wasn't in a combat zone, but I was still in a combat zone in my mind. It's like the war. I've been told, well, Doug, the war is over. You're not in the military anymore. Well, the war is still inside my head. I can't forget the memories that are there. I can just try to learn how to cope with them and deal with them. When I got back, my method for coping with them was alcohol.
Yeah.
And I would drink in the morning. I would hide it from my family, from my wife, from my coworkers. I'd drink in the afternoon. I'd drink after work. And at first it numbed me, and I thought it would help numb my feelings and help me deal with that stuff and help me sleep more soundly, but it did just the opposite of that. It stopped working, and so I thought, well, maybe I need to drink more. And so I drank more and more and more to where it was a fifth a day. And it's just, it was wreaking havoc on my life, my marriage, my family. I lied to my family. I lied to my friends who cared about me. I lied to myself. I wasn't being honest with myself at all about it. And it ruined a lot of things for me. I was stationed in Alaska at the time, and I drove all the way from Alaska to North Carolina, my next duty station in the 82nd Airborne. And on drive down, I drove down the Alcan during the winter, during blizzards and snow, and I had a friend drive with me. But looking back, I didn't really do much driving. I did pretty much all the drinking and passed out during the whole time. And I got a public intoxication charge on the way down. That's the first time I've ever been in trouble. And then once I got to my new duty station, I got another public intoxication charge, and that led to me getting discharged from the military.
You mentioned earlier you didn't want to go and share about what was going on, so you buried all those feelings.
Yes, ma'am.
So have you been able, you're not able to, while you're in the service, to grieve the people you lost, because you got to work. I mean, you got to keep your mind focused. So have you given yourself time to do that now? Have you grieved over the ones you've lost?
Yes, I have. I've given myself time, and things are getting better. One thing that has really helped me more than anything else is the VA hospital here in Boise is an outstanding place. I just finished up a program there, and it was a 30-day program for rehab for vets with substance abuse problems, whether it be drugs, alcohol, whatever the case may be. But I developed a real tight bond with some of the other veterans who have a lot in common with myself, and we had an outstanding staff there that gave us tools that we can use to cope with the problems we have. And I've been clean for 32 days now.
Awesome, that's
no
wonderful.
Drinking, and I feel wonderful. And there's hope. And to all you veterans out there that are suffering, there is hope. And I found it through the VA hospital. And there's people waiting that are staffed right now, just waiting for you to take that step to come in and receive that help. You just have to be willing.
What led up to you going in? What happened?
It was just drinking to the point to where it was interfering with my job. I haven't really been able to hold a job down for the past year that I've been out of the military. The drinking just dictated my life and controlled my life, and I want to change for the better. I want to change so I can be a better father to my daughter, so I can be a better person to those around me. I want to surround myself with positive things and positive people. And I'm doing that right now, and I feel really good about it.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you very much, Pam. I appreciate that.
I know it's not easy. I too have suffered from some PTSD issues myself. What do you feel right now has been your biggest struggle with the PTSD issues? I mean, are you having any nightmares or panic attacks or anything like that?
Yes, nightmares are something I suffer from. It is getting better. And I can attribute a lot of that, I think, to me not drinking as much, because drinking was a depressant, and I was using it to try to put a Band-Aid on something. That's all I was doing. And so it made the nightmares worse, but I still have nightmares, but just not as frequently, and I am getting better. I'm on some medication that is designed to help me with nightmares, and it's getting better. It's not as bad as it was.
You know how you mentioned earlier about the war's over and they're telling you to forget it. I don't think that's a good idea. I think it's okay to remember it. But the healing process of letting go and healing through PTSD is remembering, and having dreams actually is a safe place to do it. And that's why they come up in dreams, because it's safe there. And the less you're having the dreams, though, that means you are dealing with it, and it gets safer to deal with it, like in therapy or counseling. But there is really no magic wand for PTSD. No. It's the hardest one to get through, because with PTSD, you got to feel that you stuffed when you were in the service. So now it's got to come out. But try to remember, when it's coming up to heal you, not to harm you. And as you're remembering, allow yourself to remember in honor of what they did and how they sacrificed their life for us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's can heal that memory instead of, it's not your fault, right?
Right.
You're not holding on to anything that you could have done.
No, my soldiers did an outstanding job, and they did what I didn't even have to ask them. They freely put themselves in harm's way, and even though I was in charge of them, they're soldiers. They're American patriots and heroes, and
Absolutely. And it's not your fault, because a lot of soldiers do hold on some false guilt.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever do that? Feel like if I could have done something?
I did. I did for a long time, and I finally allowed myself to grieve. And what has really helped me is to try to live in the moment rather than live in the past.
Yeah.
The past is still there, and I can't change it.
Yeah.
But what I can do is live right now, and I choose to be sober. I choose to be happy and try to maintain a positive attitude at all times. It's difficult, and it's something I constantly work at, but it does help.
It does. And two, you staying clean and sober is honoring them, because that's what they would be looking down saying, yeah, buddy, I'm so proud of you. That don't destroy your life. You know, you're going to carry on and help so many other people just because you're not drinking. I remember I was very suicidal in sobriety, and my sponsor put me on a guilt trip. She said, if you drink or use, what you're telling these other women in the program is that God can't get you through it. So do you mind sharing a little bit about your higher power and how is that?
Most certainly. My higher power has gotten me through so many tough times. I'll give you an example. In Afghanistan, our combat medic was very religious, and I was brought up religious as well. And before our missions, we would pray together. It was just a couple of us that did it, a little prayer circle. And as time went by, a few more came into the circle, a few more. By the end of our deployment, almost the whole platoon was participating in this prayer before we went out on missions. And I'm not sure if that's what saved us, but I know it sure gave me a warm feeling inside and a feeling that knew that it was going to be okay. And my higher power has helped me through prayer and through study of the Bible and various different publications. It's helped me get through a whole lot, and I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. For me personally, too, I couldn't stay sober or be here today if it wasn't for a higher power, for God, as I understand it. As far as the program goes, where are you? Do you have a sponsor? What step are you working?
Right now, I'm currently working step 4, and I do have a sponsor. I just got one yesterday.
What step 4 is?
Yeah, step 4 is basically when you're working with your sponsor, you're discussing all of the, so to speak, negative things that you've done, and all the wrongs that you've done, and it's basically just a moral inventory of my life, and I write that down with my sponsor. We talk about it, and it's really hard. It takes a lot of soul searching to be humble enough to admit all the moral wrongs, but it's good. It helps me understand and puts it in perspective on where I'm at and what I need to work on to better myself.
Yes, because the 12 steps are really just meant to get us in alignment with God's will, to be in good relationship with ourselves, with our family and our friends and in the community, and with God. And a lot of people get afraid of those steps. They go, oh God, 4th step, and I got to do this and make amends. But, take it easy, one step at a time. It does get better. There's a process, and He doesn't give you more than you can handle at one time, one thing at a time. Just quickly, too, you want to share with us, is there anyone you're connected with right now that you're hanging around as a veteran that's helping you, besides the sponsor?
Well, right now I'm still really new to the area. I have a few friends from my rehabilitation that I did within the VA hospital that I keep in touch with.
Oh, good.
I'd like to put a shout out to Janet. Janet at the VA hospital has been there for probably 30 years, and she is the coordinator for activities and arts and crafts, and I love painting and drawing, and she organizes so many fun activities, bowling, fishing, all kinds of stuff that have been really good and instrumental in a lot of veterans to make them feel better, and most importantly, to make them understand that they can have fun being sober as well.
Oh, that's so
You know,
important.
and she has been a vital part of that, and I really appreciate the work that she's done.
Oh, I can't wait to meet her someday. She sounds like a little angel.
Oh yeah.
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 For the veterans that are coming out, what do you see as the biggest struggle for them?
Right now, from the veterans that I've encountered, I think that a lot of them aren't really trained and equipped well enough to integrate back into civilian society. Because for me, for example, I've been trained for the past 12 years for combat and go. And so we have to learn how to decompress and deal with civilians and realize we're not in the military anymore, but realize that we're in a safer environment now. I see PTSD as a huge issue because a lot of veterans hold it in and then finally it all comes out. And with that PTSD, it's very common for that lead to drug abuse and alcohol abuse.
But there is counseling available.
There is. There is counseling available at the VA hospital. There are tons of social workers up there and peer support specialists that are just waiting for veterans to come there and join. And there's weekly groups, even daily groups for different activities. And there's rehabilitation available for veterans with substance abuse problems. And it's all there. All you have to do is show up to the VA and tell them you want help, and someone will be there to help you.
So are you seeing they can come right from a war and leave, and there's no time period? They don't slowly come out of the service then? So I'm not...
That's true. Once you get out of the Army, I mean, the Army does a little bit of integration, and I'm speaking from the Army aspect alone. I'm not sure about the other services. But the Army does give you a little bit of integration on how to reintegrate into society, and they show you how to write resume, and there's a few different classes, but it's still difficult because after you spend so much time in that type of environment, it's difficult to switch over. But help is there.
I somewhat relate, and I'm sure other people that are listening, because getting off work, you know how your mind has to unwind you get home, and now it's no longer the answering the phone and doing whatever you do on a job. So I could somewhat see what you're talking about. But with the military, that must be very stressful, very hard, because your mind has been set.
Yes.
So yeah, hopefully there's some classes that can help you get back into.
And there are. I'm doing good. There's all kinds of classes. There's a compensated work therapy program that the VA offers. So if you're having a hard time like myself holding a job, then they can help you write resumes.
Wonderful.
And they can even offer jobs temporarily to help get you back on your feet. And they give you resources and help you build your resume so you can get a better job in society.
Veterans that are homeless, is there help for them?
There is, and I'm also homeless at this point. When I went into the rehabilitation program, day one, I talked with a counselor up there, and she set me up with a home over at the River of Life here in Boise.
Oh, wonderful.
And it's a men's homeless shelter, and on the third floor, it's dedicated just for veterans, and it's actually very nice. I have my own room. I have a lock to my door. I have a later curfew, and it's a temporary solution for me. But it's nice. It's nice to have that, and you know, it's a great program.
So they are treating the homeless veterans very well here.
Yes. Oh, yes. Okay. I'm homeless, and we get 3 meals a day, and I can go to classes on where to find jobs, and you know, it's a good program. You just have to work it and be willing to work it.
I know my brother. I just want to share quickly. He overdosed. He was in the Army, and he overdosed on methadone, and he's never been normal. But they didn't have a lot of these things that we have. This was like 30 years ago. And then I had a brother that was a Marine, and he died from alcoholism. So, but I just wanted to share with you, and thank you very much. We only got a few minutes left. Do you want to take just at least a minute, though, to directly talk to your fellow men that you're in the service and say something to them?
I just want to let you know that I speak from the bottom of my heart. I have the utmost respect for veterans, regardless of what branch of service you may have served in, and there is help out there. It's difficult, I understand, to get that help sometimes because it takes you being humble, but all you have to do is reach out The VA hospital is a great source of information. They have all kinds of programs, anything from housing to food to clothing to therapy, whether it be psychotherapy or alcohol or substance abuse therapy. It's all there. All you have to do is take that first step, and I urge you to do that because it changed my life for the better, and I'm thankful for the program. Good luck.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you very much, Pam. I appreciate it.
We honor you so much.
Thank you very much.
For what you have done for our country.
Oh, no, thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, no, thank you. And to those who are watching today, I want you to know no matter what has happened to you, it doesn't matter. You can recover. I've been clean and sober now for 35 years, and I, too, have had my own PTSD issues that I've had to work through, a lot of trauma as a child, and it's not been easy, but I haven't done it alone. I've had the help of God and people in a 12-step program and a great therapist, but I had to make that call. So make that call. Don't let that ego and pride get in your way, and look up our little friend here, Doug. You know, he'll be there to help you too. He's up at the Veterans, right?
That's right.
Okay.
You'll see me in the meetings all over town.
Okay, wonderful. And just know you're not alone, because there's thousands of us that are staying clean and sober today, but we don't do it by ourselves.
That's true. We have to have help. There's no way I could have done it by myself.
We do it together. So hang in there with both of us, okay? One more day. And I'm doing this one more day. And it gets better. It just really does. One more day. You keep coming back because your miracle is on its way.
I was getting on nervous.
I haven't eaten. It's like I can feel it.
Okay. Was my dialogue okay and everything?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think you did wonderful.
Yeah, I was nervous. My mouth was getting all dry.
Me
and I'm
too.
like, oh, man.
I haven't. Let's see if I don't